With you once again live here on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you for joining me, Dukect. Phone number, as always, is 724-444-7444. Once again, the number is 724-444-7444. And the call ID to connect to me, Dukect, is 92417. Once again, the call ID is 92417. Well, very interesting stuff here. There's a big, heavy topic here. And something that has been, this topic for me has been really, this term is just frustrating. It's been building up and building within me for so long about how the WWE and TNA have really been portraying women in pro wrestling. Yeah, those are the main two. I know Ring of Honor, I don't think they have any much of a female. So I know Maria is down there, but that's it. But I just don't see. A real a real strong women's division. I know they had a couple women from Shimmer, but they don't really have a strong women's division. Well, at this time, Ring of Honor. But I'm going to be talking about the main two because what I saw this week really just pissed me off. And it's something that I honestly think that the WWE&TNA, especially WWE, because they got the talent to do so, that they can actually make a real dent. Because there's a lot of people, not only young women watch the show, little girls watch that show as well. And when I see other forms of media, when I see other forms treat women as respectful, and not only as strong people, but actually go-getters, who are proactive and saving the day. For example, I know I'm going to spoil territory about Gwen Stacy, what have you, Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. Which I will say this about the Amazing Spider-Man series so far. At least the female protagonist, the main female protagonist, in those movies are not damsels in distress, like the hollowed Rami. I like both Spider-Man, majority of Spider-Man. Spider-Man 3 had its moments with Sam Raimi. But let's be real here. Mary Jane is in the entire 3 movies, all she is a damsel in distress. She's not proactive. She's not doing anything to help apply or actually help anything. All she is just someone to be rescued. Meanwhile, in Amazing Spider-Man, people hate everything else, which it was okay movie, good movie, what have you. Gwen Stacy is actually doing things. She was the main reason why when the lizard was rampaging in New York, she was the one that actually helped make the cure for the lizard creatures. And in the second one, she was a key part in the role of basically bringing back power, saving the city from Electro. So I just feel like, honestly, when these people could get it right, why can't the WWE get that right? When you see their female wrestlers or what have you, like Brie Bella, for example, getting a title shot off the break, and then later on in the evening, she was like screaming, "Help me, Daniel Bryan, save me! Oh no!" And I'm like, in that horrible segment that reminded me so much of Zack Ryder and his failure of basically getting the car, slashing the tires or what have you, just pisses me off. Hello, guest too, by the way. And then you have the TNA where they have an evening gown match, which I'm going to say this right now. What's the point of this evening gown match and everything else, the titillation of all these women taking out? Seriously, anyone who is above the age of 12, how even 12-year-olds can find more stuff on the internet for free than what TNA said. Oh, the titillation. Seriously. I want those type of matches to go away and never come back. So what's the point of that? I hated that match. I hated everything else, and I actually turned off the TV. I didn't care for TNA Impact, and that was the main thing I wanted to do this, talk about this topic, about how women are portrayed right now, both WWE and TNA. It's just pissing me off. I know you got Paige and as a women's champion. I know you got some great fighting women down in NXT, but it's just a diamond in the rough. When they get to the main stage, they're pushed as being A, as irrelevant, or B, when they get there, they get saddled with a stupid gimmick that's only there for barely there for like this fab for 5 minutes, and then bam, disappear. And everywhere else, I looked at media and everything else, they get this. They get strong female characters. Look at the movies last year, the main big movies here. Gravity, let's see, Hunger Games, and Frozen. 3 huge movies. And what did they have in common? They had 3 strong female protagonists. 3 strong female protagonists, and actually helped. It became a, they actually, they proved the point, showing women, that they could be kick-ass and strong and all that good stuff. And not only that, but they were profitable. In fact, hell, Frozen, you didn't really have a romantic interest. They just feel like they shoehorned that in. I feel like they shoehorned that horn in, personally, what happened in Frozen. But it was the main part of it was 2 sisters trying to reconnect. I mean, and not only did that work, but as be successful as it was, granted the songs helped too, but you have to look at that and say, maybe there's a lot of people, not only female, but also males as well, that would actually go see these movies and such. I mean, they are. I mean, our people who do watch, movies just strong female leads, they can't sell. They can sell. Which is another reason why the woman movie is not getting made really pisses me off. And by the way, when that movie does get made and what have you, it will sell immensely. People will be going out to see it, men, women, and what have you. Yeah, I don't watch NXT that much because, quite honestly, it's not really, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, they get there, but why is Natalie and all the strong other female wrestling veterans fighting for the NXT title instead of going after the Women's Championship? That's what I hear it going on. Why is Natty going after the NXT champion? I just don't get it. Maybe because that's the only wrestling show out there. Maybe it is. But you know what I mean. It's just, guess too. Thank you for everything else. It's, yeah, NXT has better match. Because you know why? NXT is a wrestling show. NXT is just a regular pro wrestling show. That's just like, if you watch WCW Saturday Night or what have you, or anything else. Raw is a variety show full of failed Saturday Night Live writers thinking things are funny when they're not. That's the main gifts right here. You get some good moments with Bray Wyatt or what have you, and Daniel Bryan and everything else. But that's only, 2 couple minutes or what have you. There's no okay, you got the show, but that's 30, 40 minutes of really good content on a 3-hour show. Hell, it might only be 30 or 20 minutes at some points. It just, the math doesn't add up. I'm not the smartest math guy, but the math doesn't add up. And back to my point, it frustrates me because, especially with the WWE, you have a talented roster of female competitors. And TNA showed that you can draw with strong female wrestlers and what have you. Earlier on in the knockouts beginning, what have you, you did draw, you did find you did find strong female wrestlers that actually drew and people liked and watched. One of the highest drawing stuff in that segment was the knockout stuff. And they didn't need to do any of this stupid gimmicks that they had to do these evening gown matches or strip them down naked. I'm like, Jesus, that's the stuff that drives people away from TNA, man. It frustrates me that you have a talent roster or something like that. And I can forgive TNA because they don't have the money or don't have the people pushing that talent right now. They don't. And I honestly think if they stop with these evening out matches and everything else, I think things would be better. But especially since Chrissy Hemming's in the booking committee, I don't know. That just frustrates me even more. And TNA, I just. But at WWE, it's really disappointing. Like you said, Getsu, there are so many talented women in the Divas. I mean, the Divas division or what have you in WWE, and they haven't done anything with them. How could they keep doing this? Why are they doing this? That's the question. It boggles my mind how they're going to everything else. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. Sasha Banks is good, and she's actually going to be in the NXT. She's going to be great and all, but at the end of the day, I think to me, it's just like, you know what? It doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, she's going to be relegated to that backyard spot. I mean, they don't really care about being. At the end of the day, she's going to be wasting time either by she's going to be saddled by a bad gimmick or just something wrestling 2-3 minute matches. And when they do wrestle a good lengthy match, like in Extreme Rules, where you had Paige winning the championship, where you have Paige winning the Divas Championship, she fought against Tamina Snuka, and guess what happened? She only went 6 minutes, but the crowd was so apathetic. No one cared. And you know why no one cared? You know why no one cared? Because the WWE positioned them. They told them they're not caring and made them basically say these are toilet break matches. These people no one cares about. This is what happens when you basically say a part of your do this self-sabotage to your own division, to your own women, what have you. I'm not saying the Attitude Era was perfect, what have you, but I got to say this. I have to say this. Is that at least they have character. I want to care about what happened with Trish Stratus. I cared about Trish. I cared about Jazz. I care about Lita. I cared about so many other women. China. All these. I cared about them. Does anyone really care about the Divas? No one cares. Same thing for the mid-card for WWE. No one gives a damn about Big E. No one gives a... by the way, the U.S. Championship... All right, you know what? I'm going to say this right now about the U.S. title. The U.S. Championship is completely pointless right now. The U.S. Championship, and by the way, I love this fact, ladies and gentlemen. Dean Ambrose is the longest reigning U.S. champion under the WWE banner. And he didn't do anything. He didn't have any memorable moments with that belt. All it was with his championship matches were either interference or on a pre-show that didn't really matter. He did not have any clean victories. The only clean victories he did have was against, I think Kofi Kingston at the. I think the last clean victory he had while defending the U.S. Championship was against Kofi Kingston, and that was him getting the count-out victory. Or maybe that was Kane. Yes, that was Kane. Everything else. And yes, I would like the TV championship. It should be that simple. Why didn't they do this with Dean Ambrose? Why didn't they do this to them? Why did they just make them feel irrelevant? That's what the problem. And it didn't matter. It just felt like, again, the titles don't matter. Everything else matters them. And by the way, what happened to the tag champions? I remember them, the Usos. Remember them? You know, they haven't been. Well, when's the last time they've been on a pay-per-view? And I'm not even counting the WrestleMania pre-show. No one cares about that. But were they even on Extreme Rules? I mean, did they even care? No. In fact, they were probably pushed from the WWE WLC match. Probably because we have El Torito and Hornswoggle. I guess they got pumped for those two idiots. It's just like that, you know. And I don't want to take away from my main point about the ladies, but you know, it's a whole thing. It's the whole system of board for the WWE. No one cares. Nothing matters. Especially, you know, what really is what one of the most thing about when I get back to the point where I don't want to keep repeating myself is this. And in fact, you know what? And basically for kids now, look at the kids programming. And I know it has a huge adult fan base, but what about My Little Pony? Friendship is Magic. You have 6 female characters. Each with their distinct personalities. Each one have an interesting character, what have you. And people seem to like that. Men, boys, girls, men, women, what have you. And somehow the WWE seems to know they just can't get the fact right now and everything else. You know, they can't have strong female characters and such, you know. What about Legend of Korra? I mean, the female avatar. You know, that you can have stuff like that. I mean, that's a strong female character. She has her flaws, but she grows to put a better avatar, a better person. I mean, you know, I could go back in front. You have, like, say, Wonder Woman from the Justice League, you know, Bruce Timm, Justice League shows, what have you. You know, and I can keep going with these strong female characters. In fact, I would say April from the new TMNT. She's interesting. And, you know, that's sort of, this really is something, yeah, it is. And by the way, a diva cutting a promo in the middle of the ring who isn't AJ Lee, who could have been something of a bridge of a gap, which I admit that would be interesting, cool, because a lot of females and a lot of guys like AJ Lee. I think she's okay. Or how she's not the greatest wrestler in the world, but she's okay. But she had a connection. And what did WWE do? They scoot her away for the Total Diva and such. And my goodness, that was a boring, lackluster feud with lackadaisical people with empty heads and the empty-headedness of the Total Divas crew, which I honestly don't care for. I do not care for any of them in the reality shows and what have you. I can't stand reality TV shows. And by the way, most of the people on Total Divas are described as basically being the worst people ever. Majority of the cast, I mean, you know, Eva Marie, Natalia, the Bellas, what have you. I know the Bellas were actually treated to be really nice, but I think Natalia, Eva Marie were really I think they said they were basically the biatches of the group. So I honestly don't know why people will take care of, you know, watch them, what have you. All right, hello, Gastry. How you doing? But yeah, Summer Rae, I don't know what happened to her. I think maybe she was released. Again, we have people with a connection. We actually have a good matches and what have you. This stuff happens. You have no one really caring for any of the, anyone caring about the characters they portray. They put them out there. They give them crap to do. And you wonder why. You wonder why that no one seems to connect with them. Then you wonder why that there's no connection with the Divas division or the U.S. Talents or anything else. Where you don't give a character any type of connection whatsoever, this stuff happens. And it's frustrating, and it's one of the most laziest things out there with how even more lazier than the evil authority stuff is. It's just how they basically write about how they do these feuds with the women with the women's division and WWE, TNA. At least they do something different. At least they all fighting for the belt or what have you, which is nice. But for the most part, WWE though is really the main factor. I just saw that segment of Daniel Bryan. Oh, Daniel Bryan, help me, or what have you, acting like a damsel in distress. I know Kane, but then again, that's another thing. Kane could just go to, just Kane again, which, by the way, lost decisively on not only on Extreme Rules via fire extinguisher, but also lost in a squash match with the Shield at WrestleMania, lost to Daniel Bryan many times during the road to WrestleMania, and somehow he's a threat again because he puts the mask back on. By the way, he was always treated like I don't get it. Tell me, people. I got a couple more guests here. Guest 3 and guest 4, welcome to Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much. Chat rooms are locked. You will have something to say, chat up, and everything else. But anyway, people, it's just the same thing. Is that they, it's just really frustrating to see how this stuff happens. How do these guys and what happened? How do these I just don't know. How does these people just don't seem to get it? They are so behind the times. Hopefully, eventually, they will get to the point. Anyway, we're going to take a little break here. We're going to be, next up, we'll be talking about Nintendo. Yes, Nintendo has lost over $457 million. Wow, that is a huge loss over the last 12 months, over the last fiscal year. We'll be talking about that, how they can get back, and everything else here live on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you for joining me, Dukect. We'll be right back right after this. I am back here live in the Dukect Lounge. Anyway, guest 2, I get the music from ocremix.com. Also, if you go to the YouTube page, I'll put the link in the chat room and also link in the description of all their stuff on their YouTube page and everything else. That's where I get my music, ladies and gentlemen. That, to me, is one of their best stuff, ladies and gentlemen. All their good stuff is here. All old remixes about Street Fighter, Final Fantasy, Metroid, Sonic, Donkey Kong, Mega Man, all that good stuff here live. Right, not live, but right there on ocremix.com. And YouTube joint is right here on the Dukect. I use mostly OC Remix stuff from them. They are just great. They're awesome. The remix tracks are probably the best out there. I don't know anything better because these guys are really talented. Go check them out. OC Remix at ocremix.com. Best video games music ever. You need to check this stuff out. Anyway, let's get back to something more interesting. Nintendo. Nintendo. What? Wow. $457 million. Gone. And not only this is a huge loss to the company, it's reporting over at CNET.com. I'm looking at this by Mark Walton. Link will be in the description. Nintendo has closed a loss of $457 million. Or 46.4 billion yen for its fiscal year, making it the third year in a row of losses for Nintendo. And this is something, and it's sad because the Wii U has been, really is, lifetime sales for the Wii U right now, it says a $17 million. Meanwhile, the PS4, the next-gen console, has sold over for less than 6 months, has sold over 7 million units. And their hope is next year is they're trying to make the money back. Next year, they're hoping for $390 million for next year for all the games that probably come out. I think about Bayonetta 2, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, and all that good stuff. It's just it's interesting. It is interesting to see what happened because the Wii was dominant. Regardless if you hate or liked it, the Wii was probably one of the longest hot streaks ever. Coming to almost as close to, if not like, they were really close to the last really big mega seller, the PlayStation 2. And quite honestly, I actually thought the Wii U was going to be at least good since they were cheaper and everything else. But I don't know what happened. I think, to me, the reason why they didn't happen was they didn't have the games right away. I think the console was a good idea. But I think maybe they should not have been, the tablet. I think the tablet, honestly, was a bit overreaching. And I don't know what else to do. I mean, I'm not saying they should give up. Some people say they should give up the console or what have you. Some people say they should. I think there was one comment right here is interesting, is saying that Nintendo needs to start making games that target the mature audience. What is the mature audience? What, the Call of Duty, Frat Boy, which, by the way, if you look at the sales figures, that market is almost gone. Yeah, the Call of Duty franchise, yeah, their market, it's going down, people. The last sell figures or what have you are not as high as it was a couple years ago. It's not that high up. In mature games, what? Swearing, people using guns, what have you? I don't think that's not the best way. The best way to me is good games and actually marketing good games. I don't know if they need a new system, which I think would be, to me, stupid. They just need to do rebranding. They need better marketing. Same thing with TNA. They need to have better marketing department. They need a better marketing department. I think they need to change the name from Wii U to something else. I think the only thing they need to do is change the name. If they change the name, I think this would actually be a lot better. Wii U was a stupid name. I think they should have changed it. But I think that's another thing. I think they will get a lot of games coming out this year. And honestly, to me, the who sells with the PS4 and Xbox One, I'm not going to buy any of these game systems until to me personally, I don't know why people are running out to buying them now. I never got why people are going to rush out and buy a system at at launch. It doesn't make any sense to me. Well, you're going to have the system just sit there and just casing in dust until they actually do something. I just don't get it. Especially the games don't have any, I guess too. There's no reason to. There's no reason to buy games out there, not at launch. It doesn't make any gosh darn sense. Doesn't. Nope. Don't make any sense. And here's the thing. And these new consoles don't have the Wii U does have backwards compatibility with the Wii and everything. That's it. Everything else, they don't have any backwards compatibility, which to me, unless you're as a disc, unless there are like cartridges or what have you, like Nintendo or what have you, I'm like, okay, you can't do backwards compatibility with the GameCube or, Scott, they did with the games with the Wii, Wii or what have you. I know why they can't do it with the Wii U. But I can see like in an N64 or what have you, can't do anything about it. But with the Xbox One and Xbox 360 and everything else, I don't know why you can't have backwards compatibility of that. PlayStation, I have no idea why they can't do that. You have a rack of video games. rack of huge people with huge. I mean, that was basically what kept the PS2 around. Not only DVD, but also a huge backwards compatibility, which made a ton of money. Would have that. But people were like, hey, I can buy the PS2 with a slightly higher graphics, what have you, and everything else. So unless you have backwards compatibility, I heard PS4 rumors of the PS4 trying to do that sort of thing. I heard rumors they were going to do. Yes, here it is. They're supposedly going to be backwards. Supposedly is going to, according to all this stuff right here. If you look right here, the Escapist magazine right here, is according to reported by Stephen Bogos. According to the tipster Ashan Rashid, local PS2 and PS1 support on the PS4 with native 1080p running for select titles is coming. Personally, I would like to see them do all of them. I mean, I would pay a higher price for the PS4 or what have you say, okay, we will get you to play not only PS3 games, but also PS2 and PS1 games, a huge library. I would be like, yes, I want to play these games. And not in the digital format. I want to own the PS or what have you. I want to own the disc. That sort of thing. That's what I feel like there. And that's what I feel like. That to me would be great. That to me is just that to me is the bee's knees of actually some backwards compatibility, which I think is something I want to have. I want to play the old stuff rather than with some new stuff and everything else. And that's what I think. I really wished that they did do something with the PS3 games. I wish they could, but I just really this is really a design flaw. And I would pay money. I would pay a lot more money if they actually made a PS4 that is compatible with PS3, PS2, and PS1 games. All of them. I think most people would too. But that's my personal opinion. And I think that something right there is to anything else. But hey, I'm hopeful that Nintendo. But back to the main point, I want Nintendo to come back. Because honestly, I don't want this to be a 2-1 like Microsoft versus Sony or what have you. I want there to be competition. I want there to be a competition for all these guys. And hopefully Nintendo gets smacked down again, and hopefully they'll say, okay, we got beat down. Don't worry, we'll shake out the rest, and we'll bring back the heavy hitters, and we'll go completely, what have you, the new console, what have you, or a streaming service, which I think is going to be the next future. Because consoles, I think that this might be the last generation, would be something they might have to prefer. I don't know. Leave it in the comments, people. I want to hear your thoughts as well. That's pretty much it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Hopefully I'll come out with pretty much a positive spin or what have you. I just hope Nintendo gets better. And I hope that in my main point that women in wrestling, they actually start getting with more respect and what have you. Thank you so much for joining me here in the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for all guest 2, guest 3, guest 4 for dropping in. And remember to spread the word, ladies and gentlemen, alive here in the Dukect Lounge. And remember, you can hear my stuff on YouTube, Blip, Screw Attack, and all the other video sites and everything else. Also, I just set my Dukect last video standing for additions to that guy with the glasses, so wish me luck. And hopefully I get at least somewhat of a callback or God forbid they let me on the site. So anyway, if not, well, hey, I just got to keep practicing and keep grinding. Anyway, this is Dukect here. Peace and love. I will see y'all when I see y'all later.